Hello and welcome to Off the Bench. I'm Cliona Foley and this is a podcast about women's sport, which we hope will educate and entertain sports fans of all genders and ages. You can find all our previous episodes on the podcast link on Off the Ball. Just go down, scroll down, you'll find us Off the Bench and all our previous episodes are there. We also have a Twitter handle. It's at Off the Bench OTB, capital OTB. Now, it's 2019. We're already sick and tired of New Year, New You. But we did want to start the new year with something new. And we thought, why not look at a sport that we've never talked about before? So it's going to be a special, folks, and it's on roller derby. It's a sport that's alive and thriving in different parts of Ireland. And the players have the best nicknames ever. So we've got three people here from Dublin Roller Derby who are going to tell us all the story about roller derby and also give us some hints as to whether you can join it in different parts of the country. So welcome. I have Valdemar Nicosia here on my left. Next is Ray Shref Ryan and Jenny Cooney. Welcome to Off the Bench.
Hi.
Thank you very much, Cliona.
It's great to have you in, guys. We'll talk about the nicknames later on and you can give me one if you want. But first of all, Val, a big question I always have when I see roller derby on anything is, how do you have a game that doesn't have a ball?
I've never been asked that before.
The first question,
it's the first question. They exist, obviously, because we are a real thing, not made up. Let's pretend that one of the players is the ball. We can pretend that is the easiest way to explain it. The points are actually scored by lapping opposing people's hips. So yeah, there is no ball, but there's no lack of action either.
So one player is the designated, if you like, they are the designated ball that has to get around and pass everybody in the other team to get a point.
Yes, and those are called the jammers. Right. So the jammers start behind all the blockers. So it's a team of 5 on track at a time. The other team also have 5 players. So the jammer's job is to lap around. So let's pretend that the jammer is the ball. Now correct me if I'm wrong. Or referee. I know the rules.
You know the rules well, don't worry.
Exactly.
The jammer needs to do laps of the opposing players to score points. For every hip she passes, or they pass, it's a point for that team.
Okay. And what are the other players called? So you have one jammer per team, I presume, at any one time.
Yes.
And then what are the rest of the players called?
The other 4 are called blockers. And the name kind of gives it away. They are to block the opposing jammer. But they also play offense for their own jammer. So it's actually a really strategic game. So there is 4 people on track at the best of times when people aren't bold and they're in the penalty box. And their job is to make sure that their jammer goes by untouched. And while making sure that the other jammer gets hit a lot.
Doesn't get past untouched.
It is a physical game. It is a contact sport, but it's really good fun.
I've heard it described, actually. It's a brilliant description I heard from somebody involved with you, and he said it was a full contact, fast-paced, women on roller skates, all the contact you'd expect in rugby and ice hockey, but with this beautiful strategic twist to it, that while you're playing offence, you're also playing defence. I just think
that is something I said. Yeah.
Is that what did you say that?
No, I think that's VB.
Yeah, that's my A-team coach.
Is it that's your A-team coach. So, so given that there's that many people, first of all, how long does it go on for, Ray? Because you're the referee, you're a referee. Yep. And first of all, how many referees are on the court at any one time?
So normally we would have 7 skating officials on track, and then we'd have 1 ready to go in case an injury happens with the 7 that are skating. So they're kind of like a backup referee.
So there's more referees than skaters?
Skaters oftentimes on track at the same time, yeah. And that's just the skating referees. We also have a lot of officials that help out in other areas during the game to record scores and things like that. So we'd have a lot of people. So, and how long does what do you call it? It's 2 30-minute kind of halves would be the way of looking at it.
But you couldn't keep skating for that long.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can. Yeah. We train for 4 hours at a time, sometimes on Sundays. So
they're 2 30-minute halves.
Yeah.
But do you have rolling subs, or are they on for players on for set periods, or what's the story? Are they broken into blocks at all, or I knew I had some idea in my head that it was broken up. So tell us a little bit about that, Jenny. What's a jam?
So jam is 2 minutes. So each half is broken into 30 minutes, and then each 30 minutes is made up of a maximum of 2-minute jams. So a jam can be called off early, so it doesn't have to last 2 minutes. It can be shorter than that. But the maximum length of time is 2 minutes. And
then after that 2 minutes, New crew come in?
Yes, yeah.
New crew comes in, all right. And the notion that you have so many referees would tend to me to say this is a pretty brutal sport, or is it that it's so technically constructed that you need all those referees or umpires?
It's because there's several things happening at once. So there's each of the jammers, because there's two of them, they have to have a dedicated referee just following them for the points. Then the other referees are watching from the inside of the track and the outside of the track at the action that's happening. And because the players are often running defence and offence at the same time, that's what makes it so tricky. It's like,
sounds so complicated.
It's not just one thing, it's like juggling while rubbing your stomach and patting your head. So it's like,
it's a good
because even if the jammers are on the other side of the track, it doesn't mean that there's nothing happening in the pack of blockers. If you're doing nothing, usually we say you're not doing it right, because you're also you're meant to be doing something. You're distracting the opposing players, or either setting up a play, or either getting a strategy ready. Like there is no standing idly by.
There's no idle moment, exactly. That's why you must be incredibly fit to do it. And just from a referee's point of view, what is illegal? What can you not do?
So you can, because it's full contact and you're allowed to block people, you just can't do it with your forearm area. So you can use your shoulder but not your forearm. So you can't stick your arm out and like clothesline someone, obviously.
Yes.
So you can't trip somebody up with your legs either.
Right.
And you can't use your head in any way.
Okay,
so
that makes sense.
As long as you use the other bits, you're all A-okay pretty much.
Right. Can you use your hip?
Hips, butt, chest,
you can use
shoulders, everything else pretty much.
Okay. It sounds like to me you'd want to be a really good skater to do it. So how is it possible to learn to, how do you learn?
How did you recreate?
How did you start? Exactly.
I will recreate my first time on skates.
Well, we've all done that in our ice skates.
But no, we actually run a learning how to skate program every so often. So it's twice a year. Yeah, it's a 13 weeks program, so where we teach you from the very, very, very basics. So how to stand on skates. Brilliant. To then eventually getting to the contact bits with everything in between. So apart from the helmet that you pointed out, we actually wear elbow pads, knee pads, and the mouth guard as well. So. And wrist guards, yes, wrist guards. Thank you. Right. So we give you everything. So it is we do ask for €10 just for the rental of the hall and the rental of the gear. Right. But you get 2 hours every Sunday where we teach you how to skate. For
a 13-week block, and you provide all the gear. That's correct. That's really good value.
Yeah. It is really good value, and it is a good workout. It is a really good workout.
2 hours sounds pretty exhausting. And Jenny, where's Dublin Roller Derby based?
So we're based in Inchicore. Which is Dublin 8.
8, yeah.
Correct, yeah. So we're in St. Michael's Sports Hall in Inchicore.
So it's like a community hall?
It is, yeah. It's a basketball hall that we train in, and pretty much all of our action goes on there. We train most nights of the week there, as well as Sundays as well. So you can find us there all day Sunday, pretty much from opening to close.
You have your track marked on that floor, you have?
Yes.
And are there any other Dublin venues that people play roller derby in?
We used to use the Ballyfermot Hall. It's the DCC Hall, so Dublin City Council halls. But we've concentrated everything in Inchicore just for ease.
This
of
is
coaches.
The main one here.
Yeah, it is all volunteer based.
Is it played in other parts of the country?
It definitely is.
Where? So where else?
Limerick, Belfast, Galway, Cork, Waterford,
Wicklow.
Brilliant. Yeah. So I'm presuming you get on social media, look it up, you'll find your nearest roller derby place.
Absolutely, and we are Dublin Roller Derby is very active on social media. All the other leagues are very active on social media, so if you definitely want to learn, there's definitely a league by you.
It started out, I think, I'd like you to talk a little bit about the history, but it started out almost as a counterculture movement, I think, in some ways, didn't it? And I heard somebody once describe it, which I thought was a really interesting description, because I'm an ex-PE teacher, as a sport for initially it started as a sport for people who were always picked last in PE, and I thought that was a really interesting description. So there was this feeling that it was a sport that was for outsiders or outliers or people that maybe didn't fit into the traditional structures of sport. Val, what do you think?
Well, definitely did start like that, yes. And then as the movement picked up, as roller derby picked up, the athleticism picked up. So yes, it is still a sport where a lot of people come to that they haven't maybe done sports in the past.
Sport.
Yeah, but there's also a lot of people there that have done a variety of things. We have like ex-gymnasts, we have ex-swimmers, ex-martial artists. We do have a lot of
I saw you're an ex-Gaelic player as well.
Yes, we have Irish dancers. We do, so we do. It did start really underground, and it did start like a rebel movement or like more of an entertaining thing. But as the sports progressed and the rules changed, and the people participating in it started taking it more seriously, the athleticism did rise. So if you look at the players now, if you look at high-level teams, or if you even looked at the World Cup, those are athletes. So much respect for these people.
How often are you training then every week?
We train between 2 and 3 times a week, so depending on what team or what level you're on. So I personally train 3 times a week.
Right. And what about you, Jenny?
Yes, the same. Yeah. You could be doing anywhere from, I'd say, maybe 5 to 7 hours a week on skates.
It's full on, and I loved you. I love you kind of have a motto in Dublin Roller Derby, which is athletic, fair and mighty. Just think that's a really, what do you think that stands for, Jenny?
Well, I think that the words themselves are pretty representative, but it shows what everything that the members of our league that we stand for. With the athletic, well, we've got people that are playing sports that are putting hours of their time per week on track and off track as well. There's an awful lot that goes on off track, whether it be in gyms or people working out at home themselves. When it comes to the mighty, well, we are Dublin, so we are pretty mighty now, in fairness.
It's a great Irish word, mighty. I think it's just really great.
It's empowering, I think. And then when it comes to fair, well, that's what we are. We are a sport for everybody. We have kind of no boundaries there. If you want to come and play, you come and play, and as long as you're willing to put your effort in, you will get the effort back from us as well.
And does it attract people who might be mothers? Are you a mother?
I am, yes. Yeah, I'm a mum to twins, 14-month-old twins.
Whoa.
So I did roller derby. Yeah, just a bit. I've been playing roller derby for about 7 years now. So the girls obviously came along a little while back, but I got back into training about 3 months after they came into my life. So it attracts everybody, as long as, like I said, as long as you're willing to put the effort in, you'll get the rewards back from it. So
and a little bit about the safety aspect of it, because I suppose it sounds fierce and it looks fierce. So Ray, maybe, obviously you're wearing helmets, you're wearing protective gear. How safe is it, and do you see many injuries?
It's very safe. It's rare that we'd see an injury. We probably see more injuries in a lot of other sports. But just in case, because it is impact while you're at speed, we do have medics at our games. So just in case there's an injury, we have somebody there to treat somebody immediately. And then if we needed to send somebody afterwards, we're fine. It's very rare we'd ever have an injury in the sport, thankfully. The only thing that we're always really concerned about is things like concussion. Like anything where there's a contact sport, we're always more careful with things like that. Most of our skaters, I think, are very, very good with concussion policies, and we go over it with people, and people, in fairness, would check it themselves.
In all sport now, it's such an issue.
It is very important.
Yeah. And I noticed that there's a little visor on this as well. Val, this is your helmet.
It is indeed.
Can you explain? Do they all have visors?
No, they don't. I am particularly short.
Oh, really?
I'm only 5'3", so I get hit to the face a lot. And all our sport consists of a lot of being in a squat position, so you are quite low. Believe it or not, it's not the opponents that hit me, it's my own teammates when they turn around. They turn around and I get an elbow to the face. It happens. It's just a little bit of extra added protection.
You're constantly in that squat position. You must have buns of steel, I reckon. Never enough, really. You're just back after the Christmas and you were saying you're aching today.
Yeah, we had training Sunday and yesterday, and getting up from chairs is painful at the moment.
It's like running a marathon. Now, what's this with the nicknames? I need you to explain this to me, because this is something that's like it's part of the culture of roller derby, is that everybody has a nickname. So explain to us where that comes from, and explain why you've got yours.
I think it comes from the underground kind of. It's one of the last remaining things from the 60s of when it appeared. So I think people were looking back then for like an escapism, so they invented a new persona that they could have on track, and that just kind of remained because I guess it's fun.
It is.
But a lot of people are moving towards using their actual last names. Right. So Cooney, for example.
Yeah, exactly. She's not hiding who she is. She's Cooney.
There's no need to hide when you're Cooney.
No, not at all. I hide from her. But yeah, we have kind of, since the last World Cup, people are kind of using their last names a tiny bit more, but it's not necessary, and you can be called...
And why do you have Voldemort? Where's Voldemort from?
Voldemort may or may not be the villain in Harry Potter. Yes. It was given to me. It was kind of chosen when you do pass the skating at 13 weeks. You get like a little ceremony, a little award, and then you get to pick your name afterwards. So I was kind of going. I was like, oh, I like all this and I like all that. And one of the girls, Malibu's Stacey, decided that was a perfect fit, and she kind of spread the word and.
That is a great... Malibu's Stacey is a pretty great name. There are some amazing names. People should go online, go look at the Facebook page and have a look at the names. They are absolutely brilliant.
All the team rosters are on DublinRollDerby.com if you want to have a good laugh.
They are really good. And Ray Schreff, Ryan, I'm presuming you're a Shrek fan, or who gave you that one?
It was my friend. I couldn't come up with a name years ago. About 10 years ago, I couldn't come up with a name, and I asked him for help, and he's not involved in the sport. And he goes, you're a big ignorant... So you're just like that Shrek thing. So, and you're a referee, so you're Shrek.
There it is. That's how it works. That's how it works. There's a connection with Father Ted with you, which cracks me up, because you've got a team called Owen McShoves, which I think is the best team name I've ever heard anywhere. Tell me, explain what that Father Ted connection is, Jenny.
I think that's a non-Irish person here.
No, please go ahead. Yeah.
So it was quite interesting. So Graham Lenihan was actually the writer of Father Ted. It turns out, because we were always, found the show quite funny and that, so our intra-league was set up with Father Ted kind of themed. So different teams that have different Father Ted-esque names.
Really?
Yeah. And then we found out afterwards that Graham Lennon's wife is a roller derby referee in the UK.
No way.
So just an interesting aside thing. Yeah, so we're like, if you're ever over and you want to come see a game,
and have a game,
or even ref a game for us, come on over. It would be great.
Absolutely brilliant. So Owen McShoves is one of them. What are the other ones? They've got
Whack Hackets.
Whack Hackets, of course you have. Yeah, they're brilliant. So tell us a little bit then about, in terms of competitive structures, how is it organised, and are there, in Dublin, for example, is there a league? How many teams? How does it work out?
We're in the process of trying to establish the IRDA, which is the Irish Roller Derby Association.
So a national governing body.
Yeah, we're getting. It's again a quite new sport, so we're not getting there. It's in progress. But Dublin has 3 teams: our A team, our B team, and our C team, and we are actually very competitive. We travel a lot. Too much. It's like we played 19 games last year. So we travel. The A team would travel abroad to the States, but all 3 teams would play within Europe an awful lot. So the way it works is there's a world governing body, which is the WFTDA, the Women's Flat Track Derby Association. Oh God, I mean acronyms.
So many acronyms. I never heard acronyms. So there is an international body.
There is, yes. And they are the people that look after kind of the rankings and all the algorithms that I do not even know and begin to explain. Yeah. But the A team is the team that would represent Dublin in those in that ranking. So currently we're 39th out of 400.
Wow,
so we're actually doing really well. We are playing our first tournament in Boston in March. Wow. So if you feel like donating...
well, that's it. We'll fund it in a minute.
And then our B team is ranked, I think, in the 60s, and our C team just below 100 or something on the side. So we do have a good representation.
How many members would you have?
We just broke the 100.
Right.
With the new group intake.
In how many? How old are you? How many years are you going?
This will be our 10th year.
Our 10th year. There you go. Yeah. So you're growing every year. And then would other teams in Ireland have international rankings as well?
I think Limerick and Belfast do, don't
Limerick
they?
and Belfast, because they're WIFTA members. So they would also...
They've joined the official governing body. Yeah. And then what about a European Championship or World Championships? Do they happen, or how are they organised?
You take that one.
Yeah. They're giving you the harder ones. All the technical ones.
So there is several different championships. So our governing body runs their own one, which is for primarily the top, am I right in saying 20 or 18 teams?
20, ask Kitty Tate. 28, top 28.
Top 28 teams would be in that.
In the rankings.
In playing at that one, and that would be like ESPN level, so it would be on the TV in the States, So that would be for the top 28 teams. So we're knocking on the door. And we might...
Our plan.
Yeah, so our plan is to get there. But then for the other teams that are outside of the top 28, they would have kind of regional tournaments for teams that are close to it.
Yeah.
So it allows them to move up in the ranking. So rather than just it being this 28 teams and nobody else can get there. So
you have
it's kind of structured
you're always
that way.
going to have different levels, and people will break in that. And have you competed at those? What are they called? Jenny, have you competed at those?
Well, Val can probably answer that a little bit better than I can.
We competed in the inaugural European Cup in, oh my God, where were we?
Yeah, last winter?
Birmingham.
In October.
In Birmingham.
Yeah, so
that was the inaugural one.
Yeah, very first one, and we came in second.
Wow, how many teams were in it?
I think there was about 12 teams. So we were seated second, then we came in second. There's one of the pictures is us actually holding the medal.
Yeah, because we saw pictures, and were you representing Ireland in that? Because Dublin, just Dublin. And then I saw photos that you gave us with people wearing an Irish jersey. So who were they?
So there's a World Cup as well that was held last year. That was February last year in Manchester. Yeah. And so Team Ireland then is made up of skaters from all over the world, basically. And they went over to that in in February of last year and competed.
So I don't understand how is Team Ireland made up of people from all over the world?
It would be like any other national team. Yeah. So skaters from here that are playing in Ireland here who are Irish, and then people who are eligible to
play around the world. So some would be home based and some would be elsewhere, right? And they might be competing at a higher level, I guess. So it's pretty competitive now, and obviously it has become a very athletic sort of a sport now. Because I'm reckoning the fitness. What did you play before? Did you play any other sport before?
I did 13 years of martial arts.
Martial arts. What about you?
I was Irish dancing for a good few years until I was about 17 when I was younger, but between 17 and 25, 26, I did nothing.
And we talk about this all the time on Off the Bench, which is this drop off that women have and young girls have in sport, and how do we get them to go back? So why did you give up and why did you go back?
I think getting into my teens with the dancing, I had decided no, it's not cool enough for me anyway at the time, and I had decided no, I want to go out and try different things now, and I kind of just stepped away from it, and I guess life kind of got in the way, when you start getting into your 20s. For myself anyway, it was about starting work, and then I went travelling for a couple of years as well, and it was actually while I was travelling in Australia that I came across roller derby.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you, is how did you come across it?
So I was in Melbourne at the time, so I went and started with the Fresh Meat programme with VRDL, and luckily when I was travelling on my way back, I found out that there was derby here in Ireland, so I contacted Kitty and Bruce, which are two of our members, and they invited me into the Fresh Meat programme, and I came back and went straight into the programme, and it's
brilliant. So
from there,
so it gets you back into sport. So,
absolutely.
And it seems to me to be, having watched some of the videos and everything, like there's really great camaraderie there. There's great fun there. It's ultra competitive. It's physical. It's tough. But at the end of the day, you all look like you're having great fun as well. And that's the key thing for sport, isn't it?
Mm-hmm, absolutely. I think a lot of people, it's the fun that really helps to stick around. Some of the training sessions can be very hard, and some of the games can be even harder. Even if it's a win or a loss, it doesn't matter. But you know that when you come back to training, that it's your team that you're coming back to, and the teams are incredibly supportive of each other as a team, but also of the league itself. We are very much a league that is run by members for members, and we do the work ourselves. And if we don't do the work doesn't get done.
It's such a young sport. You're having to do both. You're having to run it and play it and do everything else that's in between. The phrase fresh meat keeps popping up, and whenever I hear it I go, whoa, what does that mean? So Val, you might explain to us the phrase, because people, if you read or look at anything about roller derby, you see the phrase fresh meat. Explain it.
It's a term that was used for the starting program. So earlier I said learning to skate. So fresh meat was what people. It was called. Yeah. But I don't even know where it came from. It's an American term, I believe.
It's the original one,
But we are trying to move away from it because we wanted people to know that it's for everyone. So if we just use the term fresh meat, people are just going to skim by it and go, I don't know what that is.
It sounds a bit scary.
And people are going to go, I don't know, what is that? But if you see something that says learn to skate, it might actually catch your eye a bit more, and it's like, I want to see what that is.
It's not as intimidating as fresh meat, definitely.
It's just about using terminology that is accessible and available and understandable
The bull.
Yes, that word? By everyone.
But the fresh meat idea was new people, new blood coming into the sport, and you have this Learn to Skate program, which, as you say, you run twice. Have you just started?
We only started last Sunday.
So how many did you get? Many new people?
I think 48.
We get pretty high numbers now starting, which is great. And because of the way the program is designed, it doesn't necessarily teach you roller derby straight away. You have to learn how to skate, how to be safe on your skates, how to fall, how to stop, and then you build into the skills in itself. So by the end of it, you're confident enough to go ahead and really start hitting people.
So all the people who do the Learn to Skate, they won't all necessarily stay on and compete in roller derby.
A good portion of them do. They'll move on to our next set of programs that we have. So the way our league is set up and the way the training is set up is that you work your way through, you develop up through the skills to be able to get yourself onto a team or to be able to get to a competitive level. You'd never turn up a few weeks in and be thrown on track with everybody else. That's not how it is.
So it's very progressive.
It is, yes.
Train people progressive.
Yeah. We want people to be safe, and through that then people have fun with it. Because if you come along and injure yourself, you're not going to enjoy it. You want to make sure that you build up the skill and the confidence to be able to go on.
Have either of you, as competitors, ever had an injury? Bad injury?
A few.
Yeah, it happens.
It happens in all sports.
Any sport,
And what about the referee? Do you get knocked over?
Thankfully, nothing. I think I broke my coccyx once, years and years and years ago.
Derby?
Well, yeah.
I want to know.
He was going very fast or was hit very hard at the time.
Yeah.
I don't know. But it's natural. I mean, injuries are part of everything. But it's funny, when you were talking earlier on, I'm guessing you learn how to fall.
Yes.
Do you? Yeah.
We're very intensive.
We teach you.
Yeah. Because jockeys learn how to fall. People don't understand that. You must learn how to fall if you're in a contact. It's like you learn how to tackle in rugby. Yeah.
One of the things about falling with roller derby is that you don't fall on your own in your own safe little space. You're falling with a lot of bodies around you.
Yeah.
So one of the main things that we teach is teaching people how to fall small, which is the most important thing, because if I fall splayed out on the track, I could trip over 6 or 7 other people around me. So that's one of the big things. So that's why we have to teach people to fall.
Oh, interesting. Fall small. I like the idea of that. Are there any documentaries or articles or anything that you've ever seen, or even movies? I mean, are there a few famous? Are there a few famous? Which is Whip It is the one. Yeah. Whip It is a movie though, isn't it? It's a fictional movie. Is there anything factual or any documentaries or anything you've ever seen to recommend?
Crew that was following Team Ireland around since the World Cup in, I'm not going to say Dallas, the one before that, which was in.
So there might be one that might pop up in Ireland.
Yeah, Roller Derby on Film did it, and it was only showcased, I think, at the last year when it was completed.
Revolutions, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Revolutions.
Where would you find it?
That's a good question.
You go in online and have a look.
If you Google it, you find it there.
Yeah, Revolutions is the name of the movie.
Revolutions is the name of it. Okay, perfect. And Ray, who are the best in the world? Did it start in America? So I'm presuming they're best in America, or am I completely wrong?
It started in America, and for a long time they were the best in the world. They're still up there, but now there's a lot more teams breaking in. So right now, Victorian Roller Derby League.
In Australia,
they're number one.
Really?
Yeah, they're number one now.
Yeah.
So it's pretty much Australia is shining through. The States are still there heavily. There's UK leagues knocking on the door, and then ourselves not too far behind. And there's Berlin has a team up there as well, so there's a lot of teams there. Yeah, we have them coming up soon.
Yeah, and I was curious because we were talking about it in a female context. Are there male roller derby teams in Ireland?
Is
it more a female thing than a male thing?
Is it men behaving derby?
Yeah, there are men's teams in Ireland.
Yeah,
it's definitely more, let's say, oriented to non-males.
Yeah, it's interesting why it's a more, but it definitely has evolved as a much more female sport. That's why I was interested in it. And are there ever mixed games?
There can be, there's a lot of rookie games that would be mixed, but it's just more popular.
Yeah, and you're obviously organised that way so that it's all women's teams competing against one another at the moment.
Well, we accept people, whoever wants to come play, as long as you're over 18.
Only stipulation, gender-wise or anything, is only stipulation
for us
is over
18. 18. That's all 18. You need.
All right,
for insurance purposes.
Sorry.
For the moment.
For the moment, yes.
And when they're learning, just a tenner each time they go for that 2-hour session, 13 weeks, that's how you learn.
It's quite cheap if you consider what's going around, and it is a good workout.
To rent a hall as well.
Yes, we have to cover the hall costs. Yeah.
And what about funding then? How do you fund it? Is it all self-funded?
It's completely self-funded. Yeah. So we are going to Boston, as I said, and it's all coming out of our own pocket. All our gear comes out of our own pocket. So we do hold fundraisers in the shape of table quizzes recently, because we found that they're actually quite good to attract a crowd. So we've had Simpsons ones, Harry Potter ones,
themed
ones. So we find that kind of gets a little bit of money in, and that gets not much. In fairness, we rely mostly on our skaters' dues. Yeah. So you have to pay to be a member.
Yeah, you'll pay club fees.
Because you need to pay for the hall and whatnot. And we are there, as Jenny said, up to 8 hours a week. So.
Is the equipment, can you get it in Ireland? Where do you even get the equipment?
Yeah, you can get it in Ireland. Go Skate does equipment.
Is it a shop? Or
it is a shop.
Yeah. In Dublin?
Yeah, they've got a shop in Tallaght.
In Tallaght. Go away. There's a skating shop in Tallaght.
There is. Yeah, they also do like roller blades and
I presume they do all kinds of skate stuff and boards and stuff. Yeah. So they do, and I noticed your shoes, which people mightn't even realise, they're 4 wheels.
Yeah, my skates are 4 wheels. I'm sorry that you have to touch them.
And they've got very flashy colours and everything in them. They're brand new, I hear.
They're brand new.
You can tell they're Val's.
Why is that? Because of colour?
Because I may or may not like custom stuff. The custom ones and those were and they're small.
So you designed that to get your own little colours in the wheels.
I wanted the blue trucks. If it was for me, they'd be all completely custom, but I had to.
Oh, look at this!
Flashing. I decided that I needed to spend the money elsewhere. Unfortunately, they're not shiny blue.
How much would a set of skates cost?
So obviously 2, because I do have 2 feet. Yeah. The boot itself is only about 150. It's actually the plate. It's the plate that costs a bit more money.
The piece down the middle.
Yeah, and the wheel, they were probably about 400 total.
Right.
But my previous skates were about the same, and they lasted me for about 5 years.
And you're a serious skater, so you're getting plenty.
8 hours a week, 19 games last year, so they
that isn't bad.
And most people would start off on skates that would be a lot less than that.
Yeah, exactly. So we're talking about high end. We're talking about the Adidas Predator of boots.
Yeah, that's my third pair of skates now. So my very first was 100 for the R3s.
Exactly,
so yeah.
So finally, can you tell us, all three of you each? I'm going to ask you is, what is it what makes you love roller derby? Why is it the sport that you're doing, and why would you tell other people to do it? Jenny?
I think it was the first sport especially that I felt comfortable with competing in myself. It was something that I learned to be good at, which is a confidence boost, definitely, for sure. And then thirdly, then the new family that I got from it. It's a league that I'm a part of, that I've been a part of for years, but they're people that I see 3 or 4 times a week,
all the time,
and we took our Christmas break there recently, and getting to see everybody again on Sunday was like taking months off.
Going back then to family.
So it is like going back to a second family. It's people that know you, they know your personal situation, they care, and we have these relationships there that are just, you don't find them anywhere else, I don't think. So
Ray, what about you?
I just love the intricacies of the sport, like the athleticism of it's fabulous. The fact that I've never come across another sport that does offense and defense at exactly the same time. So it makes it so interesting. And we often have a saying is that, as Jenny was saying, my friends have a roller derby problem.
I can't. I have roller derby.
Yeah.
And what about you, Val?
I've always done a lot of sports, and I came across roller derby, and once I kind of settled in, I realised that it's extremely competitive, but not in the sense of games, but the competition is yourself, and it pushes you and it challenges you and it breaks you and makes you in ways that I never actually knew. And as you move up and you create a bond with your teammates and your league mates, it's like, these people are my best friends. I talk to them every day. I would feel lost without them. So yeah, I do get all the benefits of the sport and the fun of the competition, and it's a contact sport, which makes I love it.
Yeah, some people love contact sports. Really love the contact.
I also get, as they were saying, the social aspect of it. These are my people. anything happens in my life, they're the people I call. Like, who are you going to call? Them. Yeah.
This is your tribe. You've got one on, you've just started one in early January, so the next new intake of people will be...
If you want to join, you can still join next Sunday, because we allow you to miss 2. So you're still in time. And we wouldn't have covered anything massive that you wouldn't have been able to catch up on next Sunday. So if you go on DublinRollerDerby.com, that's where all the information is. So it's about twice a year, so we don't have the next date yet.
No. And again, we'll say you can find it in Belfast, Limerick, Galway, Wicklow,
Cork.
And have a look, people, and look all around the website and see it's a different sport, it's a new sport, it's an evolving sport, and it's a contact sport. And I think it's a sport that a lot of women actually might love if they had a go.
If you are curious and you want to see what it looks like, the 2nd of February we're playing games in Greystones, so the Greystones Leisure Centre. If you are curious, come have a look. It's €10 in, under 16s are free, and you get to see some roller derby.
Brilliant. Listen, guys, thanks so much for coming in. We wish you luck in 2019, and everybody who's involved in Irish roller derby, we hope you have a great year.
Thank you very much. Cheers.
Thanks a lot.